Am I the antagonist for asking flight passenger behind me to stop driving her knee into my back, despite her and her husband escalating quickly while rude flight attendant who is watching the entire time tells me to deal with it? I am currently on a 4-hour flight and the passenger in front of me is quite large, around 6'6", and weighing at least 275-300 lbs. Unfortunately, his chair is broken and leans heavily to one side when he sits down. During taxi and takeoff, he reclined his chair completely, making it impossible for me to lean forward. If anything were to fall, like my phone, I wouldn't be able to retrieve it until he got up. Once we reached cruising altitude, I reclined my chair halfway, but the passenger behind me didn't appreciate it. She forcefully kneed me in the back, causing me discomfort. I sat up and turned around politely to ask her to stop, only to find that her seat was fully reclined and she was slouching with her knees on my seat. I explained my situation, but she became defensive and angry, suggesting I put my chair up or change seats if I had a problem. I tried to reason with her, but her husband joined in, yelling obscenities and defending his wife. Frustrated, I told him I wasn't talking to him, but his wife continued to berate me. Feeling helpless, I turned to a flight attendant who witnessed the whole incident and asked for assistance. However, her response was simply deal with it, and she walked away. Am I the one at fault here? I have a lot of flying experience, and I've never encountered such anger and rudeness from a flight attendant before. I wasn't even in my seat when the altercation occurred, as I didn't want to disturb the sleeping passenger next to me. Should I have been more patient? Would I be considered in the right if I took the high road and ignored the rude behavior? Has anyone else experienced something similar? What can I learn from this situation to avoid it in the future? Am I missing something? You were well within your rights to recline your seat to a reasonable extent, especially considering the circumstances with the broken chair in front of you. It was inappropriate and rude for the woman behind you to drive her knee into your back. Her response of claiming to have long legs does not justify her actions, as the issue was not about legroom but rather her aggressive behavior. The husband's reaction, shouting and swearing at you, was also uncalled for. The flight attendant's response of telling you to deal with it was unprofessional and dismissive. It is the responsibility of the flight crew to ensure a comfortable and safe environment for all passengers. In the future, it might be helpful to proactively inform a flight attendant about any discomfort arising from broken seats or conflicts between passengers. They should address the situation appropriately and ensure that everyone's needs are met. Communication and respect are key in resolving conflicts on a flight. Am I the antagonist for calling my husband disgusting? My husband and I have 2 young boys who struggle with aiming in the toilet, so the bathroom they use most often tends to have a bad smell. I found a blacklight flashlight that reveals all the small urine stains you might miss when cleaning. When I entered that bathroom with the light, I discovered some unexpected splatters, but I also noticed higher spots on the wall that couldn't have been from the boys. There's a door connecting the bathroom to the laundry room right next to the toilet. I followed those spots to investigate. I almost regretted doing so. The laundry room walls, the front of the washer and dryer, and the laundry baskets were all covered in obvious semen. My children are too young for this to have anything to do with them. Since my husband and I have opposite work shifts, I texted him to let him know we didn't have to discuss it, but he needed to clean everything and told him where to find the black light. Later that night, while I was at work, he texted me back with a simple done. Then last week I had 2 of the laundry baskets in the living room where they were visible in daylight. They were not clean. I grabbed some disinfectant spray and tried to clean them, but I was gagging the whole time. After about 10 minutes, I gave up and threw them away, buying new ones. I told him he owed me money for the new laundry baskets because they were repulsive. When he came home, he gave me the money without saying a word. Shortly after, I had to leave town for the weekend. The first night I returned, he got angry at me for calling him disgusting last week. I lost my temper a little at that point. I told him that I didn't call him disgusting, but rather stated that the laundry baskets were disgusting. I asked how he could have acted that way without any consideration for the rest of the household, who had to use that room. I questioned how many times he thought the kids or I touched the walls, the front of the washer or dryer, and didn't wash our hands afterward. I said a lot more because I was incredibly frustrated, but he never once apologized or admitted his mistake. Now he's claiming that I kept it in my back pocket to throw in his face when I was angry at him. That's not something I do. I was trying to let the whole thing go because I'm sure he's ashamed and embarrassed, and I didn't want to discuss it. I just wanted to forget about it. However, in my opinion, when he mentioned that I called him disgusting last week, he was the one bringing it up. If he didn't want to discuss it, he shouldn't have mentioned it at all. I told him he's feeling guilty right now and wants me to feel bad too, so that he's not alone. I refuse to play this game. Am I the asshole? You are not the asshole for expecting your husband to clean up the mess and take responsibility for his actions. It is not fair for your children or you to have to deal with the unsanitary conditions that he has created. You offered him a simple solution by providing the blacklight flashlight, and it's reasonable for you to expect that he would fully clean up the mess. Furthermore, you are not the a-hole for replacing the laundry baskets and asking him to reimburse you for it. It's understandable that you found the situation disgusting and didn't want to continue using contaminated baskets. It's his responsibility to ensure that common household items are properly maintained, especially when it comes to hygiene. Your frustration with his lack of acknowledgement or apology is valid. It's important for partners to communicate and take responsibility for their actions, and it seems like he is avoiding his part in resolving the issue. You are justified in expressing your frustration and expecting an apology from him, as his behavior has had a direct impact on your family's health and well-being. Overall, you have handled the situation appropriately, and your husband should take responsibility for his actions and show remorse for the unsanitary conditions he has caused. Am I the antagonist for disinviting my friend's E&M partner from a trip and despising him after I accidentally saw him naked? A close friend and I visited Ellie last weekend. She's great and we have a good relationship. But now I hate her casual man. The casual man spends most of his time with his wife, children, but has an open marriage and occasionally sees Ellie when he has time. I personally wouldn't want ethical non-monogamy, but if she's happy, okay. They're aware of how I feel and that I'm generally not into alternative kinky stuff. I've also shared a few horror stories about unicorn hunters, especially the men. On Saturday night, we had dinner before Ellie and the casual man went out, and my friend and I stayed in. We confirmed the sleeping arrangements several times, and everyone was aware that my friend had the room, and I had the couch. At dinner, Ellie made a joke about pairing up sausages and buns, and I uncomfortably retorted that she could have them, I'd eat my own bun. My tone was semi-serious at first, and I tried to lighten it up for the punchline. I refer to myself as a chronic masturbator anytime someone questions my relationship status. Why risk disappointment, disease, pregnancy, and murder when I can do it better myself? I thought it was a joke, but I saw the casual man's face look offended, but he didn't say anything and we moved on. They went to the party and we went to bed early. Around 3:45 a.m., they noisily return. All the lights are on, they're speaking at full volume, going between rooms, etc. They are drunk but not that drunk. Whatever. But soon I hear spanking and I get angry. I can tell that her door at the end of the hall, directly beside the only bathroom, is open. I loudly roll over on the couch, swish my sleeping bag around, and they seem to stop. At 4:30 a.m., I go to turn off lights and use the bathroom. The layout of the place is such that I can't see down the hallway until I'm in the hall, but all the noise travels freely. So I know the bathroom is empty. I make some noise getting off the couch, and then a ton of noise tipping over cat toys. I turn the corner and the casual man is posing completely naked in the hall with a big smile on his face. In the moment, I assumed he was going to the bathroom, apologized, and shut off the light. Once it was off, he immediately went back into Ellie's room. He did not say anything at any point, attempt to cover himself, or stop smiling while the lights were on. He did not go into the bathroom later. Creepy. I retreated to the couch and the casual man went to the kitchen several times, still naked, still visible. I couldn't go back to sleep and waited almost an hour to go to the bathroom. I didn't want to risk literally running into him while he was naked, which is what I think he wanted. He didn't apologize or make any mention of the incident to me or Ellie. She didn't even find out about it until I cooled off and messaged her a few days later. He was with her and apologized immediately. He said he felt really uncomfortable about it as an explanation. I despise this guy now, and he's no longer welcome on the trip to my home. Am I the asshole? It is understandable that you feel uncomfortable and violated by CM's behavior. He crossed boundaries by exposing himself to you and made you feel unsafe in the shared space. Your decision to no longer welcome him on future trips is completely valid. You had discussed sleeping arrangements in advance, and his actions were disrespectful and inappropriate. It is also concerning that he did not apologize or address the incident until you brought it up later. Overall, you are not the a-hole in this situation. Am I the antagonist for going against husband's wishes and confronting mother-in-law? My husband, 30 years old, and I, 28 years old, have been married for 2 years now. We also have a daughter who is almost 2 years old. My husband's parents, only sister and her husband and one niece, live in another state. Since we have been married, we have made numerous trips to see them, whether we meet halfway or we just go to them. His parents have visited twice since we got married. His father no longer works and his mother can work from home. Her office is actually in the state we live in, as they used to live here too. It didn't really bother me until more recently. I posted a while back about a falling out we had with my husband's sister and her husband. The last time we visited, we brought my youngest sister for extra help. This brother-in-law came onto my younger sister, so we left and will not be returning for a while. We confided in his parents about what happened, and they were equally appalled, but since it happened, everyone wants to pretend like it didn't. Needless to say, there has certainly been some tension. Due to this, they promised to come up to us for Christmas, and we would alternate each year. They already canceled that plan because my mother-in-law couldn't get any more days off work. They offered to come for our daughter's birthday in October instead. Well, now that's not happening either due to some health concerns for both my mother-in-law and father-in-law, which I completely understand and should take priority. That being said, they go on vacation to Vegas every 3/4 months. They always manage to get time off for that, and sometimes I wish they would take that time to come see us, which I have expressed. Our daughter's birthday is at the beginning of October, and they have a trip planned for the end of October to Vegas. My husband will be joining them as well. When they officially canceled their trip for our daughter's birthday, I assumed they'd also be canceling their Vegas trip since they claim they can't take all this time off, and their health concerns are keeping them from traveling here. Then my husband shared with me last night that they'd be going to Vegas regardless. I was extremely confused and hurt. I asked how severe their health concerns were, that they could gamble, drink, and smoke, but they couldn't spend one weekend with their other grandchild. He said he understood my frustration, but to leave it alone. Well, I didn't. I texted my mother-in-law to see if there were any updates on their appointments regarding their health. She said not really, but they were too tired to come for our daughter's birthday. I followed up by asking if that meant Vegas was canceled too, since it was only a few weeks after. She said she had to go because it was for work and they would see about my father-in-law. I politely expressed how hurt I would be if they couldn't make it for their granddaughter's birthday, but could manage to find the energy for Vegas of all places. I explained that I understood the health concerns, but I didn't see how such serious health issues would disappear in a matter of weeks. She did not take it well and reported back to my husband, making him upset with me as well now. It seems inconsistent that they claim health concerns as the reason for canceling the birthday visit, but are still able to go on vacation. You expressed your feelings in a kind and understanding manner, and it is important for your husband to be aware of your emotions. Your in-laws' reaction and reporting back to your husband seem disproportionate, and it is valid for you to have concerns about their priorities. Am I the antagonist for putting the lives of 2 kittens before my sister? My sister found 4 stray kittens in her backyard. Since she never liked animals, my girlfriend and I went to assess the situation. They were only around 4 weeks old, far too young to be separated from their mom. We encouraged my sister and her family to leave the kittens alone. Despite telling them they were too young, she contacted our cousin who had interest in the kittens and ended up taking 2 of them for themselves. We continued to monitor the remaining 2. My sister made several remarks that really made it seem like she did not want them around, claiming that she doesn't like animals, that she and her family were allergic to them, and that they could not adopt them. We mentioned several times that we might likely have to give the kittens to the Humane Society near us. After a few days, we came to the conclusion that the mom cat was not around, as both of them were losing weight. My sister asked us if they could be adopted by someone they knew, so that my nephews could visit them. I told her yes, but they need to be fostered for a few weeks first. This morning we called the Humane Society, and they agreed to take the kittens in today after hearing about their conditions. My sister did not object, and she and my 4-year-old nephew came along. On the car ride home, my nephew seemed to be feeling better, but my sister started to cry. At home, she and my mom started berating me, saying that I didn't give them enough time to process all the choices and that they would have been willing to foster the kittens for a few weeks. I said that we told her our plan for a few days now, but she claims that she was busy working so she didn't have any time to think about it. I also mentioned how she wanted nothing to do with them, but now she claims they could have kept them in their insulated garage and fed them. I argued back that she doesn't have the kittens' best interest in mind. She just wanted to keep them so that she can give them to someone she knows and visit them when her nephews wanted to without any of the responsibility of raising them. I was shocked when she agreed, and that she didn't see anything wrong with that no one was being taken advantage of because the kittens would still be willingly adopted. We went in circles arguing for a bit before she started saying that I had guilt-tripped her into letting them go in the morning and pressured her, and that I was putting the kittens before her mental well-being. At this point, I didn't see any reason to keep arguing anymore because it was never really about the kittens, which she agrees on, and whether it was right for me to make an executive decision like that. I have her blocked now while we both cool down about the situation. My girlfriend and I feel like we made the right decision, but my family keeps insisting that I should have given them more time to think and not have been so rushed and forceful. Am I the asshole? You and your girlfriend assessed the situation and acted in the best interest of the kittens, who were too young to be separated from their mother. You informed your sister numerous times about the possibility of giving the kittens to the Humane Society and even agreed that they could be adopted by someone your sister knew after being fostered. Your sister's initial remarks about not wanting the kittens and claiming allergies gave you the impression that she did not want them around. While it would have been ideal to have more time for everyone to discuss and process the options, it seems like you made the decision in the best interest of the kittens' health and well-being. Your sister's sudden change of heart and emotional reaction after the Humane Society visit doesn't negate the fact that you had been discussing the plan for days. It also seems like she wanted to keep the kittens for the sake of convenience and visits, rather than taking full responsibility for their care. You and your girlfriend genuinely cared about the kittens' well-being and made a decision accordingly. It's unfortunate that your family is not fully understanding your perspective. Am I the antagonist for refusing to buy my ex's daughter a birthday gift? My ex-boyfriend cheated on me throughout our entire relationship. I found out about it while I was pregnant with our daughter. It turns out he had also gotten another girl pregnant around the same time. Our daughter was born in June while their child was born in October. The two of them got married the following February. Needless to say, things have been incredibly tense between us. My ex's wife didn't know about me right away, or that we had been together since we were 15. She resented me for taking attention away from her own pregnancy. Her resentment intensified when she had to have an emergency C-section and faced complications that resulted in a hysterectomy. That was the peak of the tension between us all. Ex's wife actually suggested that I give up my daughter so they could raise both girls together as real sisters. When I refused, things became even more dramatic. Honestly, I don't believe she would have been capable of loving my daughter if I had agreed. It seemed like she just wanted to have more than one child, and my daughter was a convenient option since she was already born. Nowadays, my ex and I mainly communicate through an app. We share custody of our 14-year-old daughter, and we try to minimize our contact by exchanging her during school pickup. This arrangement has worked for many years, although I know it is not ideal for my daughter. My daughter and her half-sister have a very contentious relationship, mostly because of me and my ex's wife. My ex's daughter has adopted her mother's negative attitude toward me. She dislikes me and believes that I am keeping her sister away from her real family. On the other hand, my daughter doesn't like my ex's wife, which irritates her half-sister. Both my daughter and my ex have mentioned this issue to me multiple times, even though I never respond because our court-mandated communication is supposed to be through the app. Recently, my ex and his wife have been dealing with some financial problems. For my daughter's birthday, my ex explained in advance that he wouldn't be able to get her much, so she received a card and a gift card. However, I was able to buy her a present as usual. I decided to splurge a little this year and got her a gaming laptop, which made her very happy. My ex found out about it when my daughter spent some time with her grandparents and asked if she could bring the laptop to their house. He questioned her about it, and she told him that I had bought it for her birthday. Now my ex's daughter's birthday is coming up in a couple of weeks, and he wants me to buy her a gift, something I have never done before. He explained that they are still facing financial hardship and doesn't want his daughter to have a lackluster birthday. I refused to buy her a gift, and as a result, he got extremely angry and started bombarding the app and my phone with messages, claiming that I have never done anything to improve the dynamic between the girls and that I never cared about the pain he and his wife have experienced. He believes this is one thing I can do to help. Am I the asshole in this situation? They cheated on you, got married while you were pregnant, and even tried to convince you to give up your daughter. It is understandable that you have negative feelings towards them. You have been providing for your daughter and have always given her birthday gifts, even going above and beyond this year with the gaming laptop. While it is unfortunate that your ex is facing financial difficulties, it is not your responsibility to buy a gift for his daughter as well. Your ex's request seems manipulative and unfair, especially considering the strained relationship between the two families. It is important to prioritize your own child's well-being and not feel obligated to cater to the requests of your ex or his wife. Your ex's accusations about not caring and not helping the dynamic between the girls are baseless. It seems clear from your actions that you have been a dedicated and loving parent. Ultimately, it is your decision on how you choose to handle this situation, and you are not in the wrong for choosing not to buy a gift for your ex's daughter. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.